Hi there. In a previous video we looked at expanding brackets where I said if you had 3x plus 2y, for example, then we were doing 3 times x, 3 times 2y to give us 3x plus 6y. Well, factorising, 3x plus 6y. Factorising, which we're doing today, is doing that in reverse. So I'm going to look for common things that I can take out. So for example, if I had 5a plus 5c, you would see a commonality there in the 5, and it's not too hard to imagine that if you were multiplying out a bracket, you would have had a 5 outside of the bracket. And similarly, if you had 7m plus 7n minus 7p, the commonality across all of those is a 7 every time, and so what we get there is 7m plus n minus p. Now that's all really very, very straightforward, but let's have a look at this question. 3x plus 6y. When we first look at it, we would think, but there's nothing the same there that I can take out like I could do in that example and that one. But looking deeper, you can see that actually there is. 3 and 6 are both in the 3 times table. So this is 3 times x, but 6 is 3 times 2, so it's 3 times 2 times y. So the thing that we can take out, the thing that's in common in there, is again a 3, but that leaves us with 3 outside the brackets. You can see it's a common factor in both phrases, and that's why it's called factorising. I'm left with x in that one, and I'm left with 2 times y, which is 2y in that one. And you can see we started here, and that's how we would get back from the question that we began the example with. So let's look at something slightly more complicated. So if I've got 15v plus 35q, I can say I can see they're both in the 5 times table. This is 5 times 3 times v, and this is 5 times 7 times q. The common factor is the 5, and that comes outside the bracket, and I'm left with 3 times v plus 7 times q. 7q. Now, you would think that that would be it, but there is just another subtlety. So if I went for 16x minus 24y, you could say, oh, they are definitely in the 2 times table, both even numbers, so I'll do 2 times 8 and 2 times 12. But somebody else might have said, but they're in the 4 times table. So I can do 4 times 4 times x and 4 times 6 times y. But somebody else might have said, yes, but they're actually in the 8 times table as well. So the question is 2, 4 or 8. Well, they are all the common factors of 16 and 24. And I've hinted at that already now. The idea of common factors, and we used to be having an extra letter at the beginning, and that is highest. So look for highest common factor. 8 is what we use. So I can say this is 8 times 2 times x, take away 8 times 3 times y. The common factor is the 8. So that comes outside the bracket to leave me with 2x minus 3y. And just one final one. So we know we've definitely got it. If I said 36x plus 48y minus 12z, you could look at that and you could say, right, what times tables are they all in? All even numbers. They're all in the 2 times table. I think they're probably all in the 3 times table as well. All in the 4 times table. Well, if they're in the 3 and the 4 times table, then they must be in the 12 times table. The 12 there is the highest common factor. So we're going to do 12 times 3x plus 12 times 4y minus 12 times z. So the common factor is a 12. Take the 12 out and I'm left with 3y plus, 3x, get ahead of myself, plus 4y minus z. And that's it. So, look for common factors. Sometimes they're dead easy. Other times you're going to need to work out which times tables are the 2 in. These 2 were both in the 3 times table, so it was 3 that was the key thing we were looking for. These were both in the 5 times table, so it was the 5 that was the key thing we were looking for. There are other times when there's lots of common factors, so we have to look for the HCF, the highest common factor, when thinking about the multiplications. It's always the highest common factor that will come outside the bracket. And then again here, lots of common factors, but 12 was the highest common factor of 36, 48 and 12. So we could make all of these multiplications in terms of 12 times something, and therefore it's the 12 is the common factor that we could take outside the bracket. Taking out of the bracket, expanding, putting back in the brackets, is factorising, because we're looking for the common factor outside, and an extra special thought to look for the highest common factor. Thank you.